up, noisemakers? It's Dangle back with another episode of VoiceNoise. Today we're going to be talking about breathing. How far will it take you and how long does it take you to achieve proper breath technique? And to be honest with you, something that I tell a lot of my students is that it's a never-ending lesson. You are always going to want to improve on your breath technique. As your voice changes throughout your life, as your anatomy changes throughout your life, you are going to want to keep up the practice. Now, just a disclaimer, I do want to say I am not there with you actually watching what you're doing, seeing if you're practicing it safely. If you're watching this and you do have a vocal instructor, please feel free, go to them and talk about these techniques with them and see if you can achieve something that you didn't think was possible before. That being said, I want to get into something that is very common, especially with beginner vocalists who are starting their endeavors and are figuring out that breathing is difficult. Breathing is something that we all struggle with, especially finding it within a song to be able to do it without actually thinking about it. It's something I still struggle with, and I've been doing this a very long time. So something I like to keep in mind right from the get-go is the rule of threes. The rule of threes goes to, if I can say the next phrase or sing the next phrase 3 times in one breath, I've taken in enough air. Okay, so let me explain that a little bit more clearly. If a phrase is coming up and you know it's coming up, you know there's an extended note at the end of it, you know that there's a long time before you take your next breath, make sure you're able to say that phrase 3 times in one breath. That's when you really know you've done your job to take the right amount of air. Next up, something that is very, very common in vocalists, especially beginning, is something called inverted breathing. What that is, if you just take a breath right now, if your stomach's going in as you're inhaling, that's an inverted breath. What you're gonna wanna do is correct that as soon as you can. So when you're taking in a deep breath, you wanna extend out. Okay, so when you're taking a deep breath in, stomach goes out, and when you exhale, stomach goes in. If you do have inverted breathing, do not worry. There are ways to correct it. One of the ones that I find tried and true, take a hard-covered book, any size, and as you're laying down in bed, put that hardcover book on top of your stomach. Watch it rise and fall as you take your breaths. So as you're laying down, put that hardcover book on top of your stomach, take a deep breath in, watch it rise, exhale, watch it fall. Do that about 30 times a night. You're gonna start getting into those good habits as time goes on, and soon you won't even be thinking about it. If you've ever done any choral training or have sung in a choir, I will say that those techniques and those practice regimens are some of the best ones that you can find. So if you can get into some of those practice regimens for your breathing, they sound ridiculous, but do them. They are great. They will sustain you for your entire vocal endeavor. I promise you. So when I say hissing, it's taking a deep breath in and hissing for as long as you can. So nice and consistent, okay? Anytime that hiss wavers, imagine that's your note going flat or sharp. Pulse hissing, you're working the diaphragm. The diaphragm kind of works like the breathing pump, okay? So when you take a deep breath in, you're gonna pulse that hiss. You're gonna don't stop it with your throat. A lot of times I see students stopping it with their throat or with their tongue and their teeth doing that's not going to help you. You want to push right from here. You want to feel this jumping. You want to feel your stomach jumping. So practice taking a deep breath in, hissing, going as long as you can and consistently, and then taking a deep breath in and pulse hissing. Do those every day. It takes you about 3 minutes. There's going to be huge improvement in your sound in a short period of time. If you think of breathing as the lily pad for what your voice is doing. So when you're taking that nice solid breath in, you're going to get a nice solid sound out. I've been a classical singer most of my life, but I also cross over into rock, jazz, blues, funk, R&B. This technique is widespread. It goes with every genre. Whether you're a country singer or you're a hip-hop artist that's trying to get their flow as concrete as possible, this technique applies to everybody. It's also just healthy breathing. You're gonna get the most out of it. If you think of yawning is your body's way of saying you're not getting enough oxygen because your body's exhausted. Taking these breaths is like kickstarting that. So what else does breath technique help with? Well, the clarity in your phrases, the clarity in your sound, your tone. Tone is the color and the texture that goes in your sound, what makes your voice uniquely yours. So when you're adding that breath technique to your sound, taking those big deep breaths, nice flowing breaths, expanding, feeling the expansion, you are going to have so much control over your sound, and that applies to studio and stage. Guaranteed. Breathing is the heartbeat of singing. So if you get this down and you find the understanding of what real breath technique is, you will find that it is going to apply to every single thing that you do as a vocalist. The reason why I'm doing breath technique now on episode 2 is because of how important it is. Next episode, we're going to be talking about something called range expansion, whether it's a myth or not, and breathing has a lot to do with whether or not it's true. So just remember, when you're laying in bed, if you have that inverted breathing, lie that book on top of your stomach, correct that as soon as you can, and I guarantee that you're going to find benefits in breathing properly. Do those hisses. You're going to find that your voice is going to be strong and more controlled. When I say strong, I don't necessarily mean belting either. I mean having the strength to dial back as well. Those dynamics take in a lot of air. When you're dialing back your sound, it takes just as much air, if not more, than actually just belting it out. So having that control all boils down to breathing. Leave your comments below. Let me know if this is working for you. I'd love to hear what and see and read what you have to say. If you find yourself having some troubles, don't be afraid to reach out. I'd be happy to explain it a little bit more if you're not finding what you need in this video. Let me know what you want me to talk about next. Let me know if there's something that's concerning you as a vocalist that I can help you out with. I'd be more than happy to help. Okay? No matter what genre of music you're in, no matter what style of vocalist you are, if you're vocalizing, this is the type of technique that you are going to need for the rest of your career. Let's take care of it now and let's make it safe and strong so that way you can have the best career that you can possibly have. I'm here to help, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Daniel Panetta. Join me next time when we talk about range expansion. Thanks.